Good evening from Arizona. Hope everybody's doing well. So this is our monthly update, month 8. I wanted to start up here on the video because we have finally kind of tied in everything. So this is the very first well we did, and it flows out into the hole there, and then the overflow comes this way. So we've been fighting with this overflow, and I think we came up with a solution. So it's now coming down here. We built a path up, and now it should flow down here, come this way, and then, believe it or not, go back uphill this way, feed over, and go out. So it should go out this way, fill up this well that we have, and then we built up the path here on this well, and the overflow of this should come out and go into here, where we're planting our newest members. We've got some table grapes, 3-year-old vines, pretty nice. And we're going to put those here with a trellis system up here on the top of the swell, and we got that. Now from here, we haven't done that much. We're starting this one out, getting our holes dug, getting the water diverted. We kind of had a couple of days of nice little drizzle, so we stayed wet for a couple of days. These are our other new additions. We have 1, 2 mandarines, and a lime. That's I think it's called a barrels, something like that. And it's a lime about the size of a baseball. So we have those guys to put in. And then the last bed that we left off on, that you guys saw put in, the date palms are doing good. The zinnias are still going strong. But all the date palms have new growth on them. This one's not doing as much as the others. So we're keeping an eye on it. You see here we buried food scraps so this way and the fence, that way the coyotes can't get into it. That stick that we planted is coming up, and that's a bird of paradise. And we've got beans scattered out in here. We'll see on the next video if they've come up. But up here at the top where we last left off, we were beginning, we kind of got this done. We're still rocking it out, but the rocks that you see are functional. They're here to stop the erosion. But our radishes came up. The dandelions are coming up. They're kind of small right now. Over in that corner, there's an artichoke, and there's another artichoke. That's Egyptian spinach. And don't ask me what kind of beans. I threw 16 beans in here, so it looks like we got about 6 different kinds. And then these are butternut squash there and there. That's a tomato. Our watermelons are flowering again. This is the newest one. We've got a watermelon on it already forming. And we've got a couple of smaller ones, and we got some out front. Now, this bed I wanted to talk about the most. This is one of our later beds. This is kind of like, we had as you can see, the aloes in there. We had a couple of sweet potatoes in there, but it's kind of blown up. And the funny thing is this only gets watered with our gray water. That's it. And this soil is a totally different color than any of the other soil that we've made. I mean, it's starting to look like soil in there. And, you know, they say out in the desert, dry conditions, plant 15 feet apart. I think if you build up the beds and do water storage, you can do a lot more, because this has got a lot in here. There's yams, sweet potatoes, watermelons. That's a new kale that's in that corner. That's a chard. That's a moringa in a pot. But this has been my test. Those guys are planted real close together. and they're not bad looking, and they're producing okra, and that's not supposed to happen. So I think if you build your soil up and put storage, water, you know, holding capacity, you can overcrowd, overplant. We started down here. That's an artichoke that's right there. That's a chard. That's another yam. Our beans came up and we've been eating off the beans. That moringa's not doing so good. And I think, honestly, the taproot has hit caliche. The reason I say that, we put in a fire pit where we've been making bread. As you can see, we've kind of rocked this out. It's starting to look really like a garden. I started the second layer level of, or the third level of the key line, and I have ran into nothing but caliche down here. In case you guys don't know what caliche is, that's caliche. Petrified soil. And I'll show you something else. Petrified soil, it's just like concrete. Yeah, so it's nasty. Don't think I'll be planting too much in here, but I will use it for water. Same here. No trees can go in here, obviously, but I'm going to low plant. I'm going to do little terraces like this. Now, I planted right before the rain. We've got mustard seeds and black-eyed peas. And then this is like 16 different wildflowers up on the top, just to see what it takes. Now, I do think I can grow in this area. It's not as much caliche. Directly behind this mesquite tree. And I've noticed when I dug that there, I didn't run into caliche. So I think this section here, I might be able to put a tree here. But that's what the plan is. This is getting ready to get planted out. But it looks totally different than what we got here. We'll go in here, check out the first portion. Oh, we also planted another bed in here where we've got lettuce and spinach coming up. We got some herbs from seed. This is Thai basil. I'm pretty sure that's parsley, dill, and then a regular basil that I just pinched back. We got a couple of tomatoes. It's a butternut squash, another chard, a pepper, and a poplar tree. Now out here, we've gotten several banana peppers over the last month off of these guys, and we got our first tomato forming off our beefsteaks, and it's looking good. We still got the lufta on. And out here, that guy. Well, this guy's almost 7 foot now. So it's going up. Isn't that a pretty picture? What a gorgeous sunset. So out here we planted again. Question for you guys. I don't know much about vegetable garden, but I didn't know that this guy was on its way out. That's the watermelon we planted earlier this summer. We've gotten like 7 watermelons off of it. So I was slowly just pinching it back, you know, taking all the dead stuff off. Next thing I know, it just started blooming, and more and more. So far, I think I've counted 5 watermelons on here. Again, with flowers just going nuts. We've got cabbage planted. And back there is some lettuce and spinach and pak choi. Our potato pits have been filled in, and they are coming up really nicely. So we should have more seed potatoes. We've gone through the yams and clipped off all the dead leaves. So now all you see there is nice young, nice leaves. We get some, I believe those are pinto beans, and those are pinto beans. We got the other moringa coming up over there. This moringa is still going. In here we have more Egyptian spinach. yams. We had a couple of cucumbers going that way. These potatoes came up. Our lentils have come up. And this is zucchini. And then we have daikon radishes. More lentils. Okra still going. This is, you want to see one weird looking watermelon. I'm thinking of just picking it off and see what this is, see what it does, because I think there's another one. Yeah, there's another one hanging right there from the watermelon. That right there is a, I want to say, it's an artichoke. As you can tell, we pulled the big squash. It was past its time. But this one's still going and still producing squash. I thought it was done, so I was letting that one go to seed, and then this guy started forming. What you don't know, this moringa's doing well. He's probably about, I want to say about 6. That was me picking off the leaves. More banana peppers. San Marciano, I think it's called that. Something like that. Tomato. Another tomato back there. A couple more moringas. Blackberries are doing good. More pak choy. And we have garlic coming up. There's little sprouts in here. Now these, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beds. I wasn't watering these enough, but I've been heavily watering them, like a quart per row, and they started sprouting. So we're getting the little sprouts in here now. I'm expecting, we got 60 garlic in there. Now I just planted a row of beets, and these are carrots. We'll see how those do. Well, over here we have more chard and squash. Those are butternut squashes. The never-ending okra bush, still putting out okra. And those guys are putting out okra. Oh, daikon radishes. Finally got some more daikon radishes in around, and they're coming up nicely. Got a few gaps to plant. Me and Dana came out here and mostly ate all the little sprouts because they're so good. If I gotta eat radishes, that's the way I want to eat it. But another Egyptian spinach, another tomato over here. The fig is doing well. And other than that, guys, I think it's time for me to throw the ball for Ryder. Look at him, he's ready. Sit. Sit. Stay. Look at me. Go get it. That's his time. Other than that, guys, hope everybody has a good time. Hope you enjoyed the tour. It's coming along nicely. Just digging, mulching, rocking, planting. We'll get this thing into an oasis before we know it. Other than that, we love you guys. Thank you for watching. Be kind to one another, and see you next month.